I made myself a promise that I really want to keep this time, and that is to start reading more again. I used to read a lot when I was younger, and actually, I have quite a lot of books back home in the Philippines. And even after living here in Dubai for the last 14 years, I somehow still managed to accumulate a small collection here. And although these days I'm trying to be a little more mindful about buying books, I don't really want to buy a book just because I like the cover or because I saw someone recommended it online. But I think one of the nice things about getting older is that even your taste in books starts to change. The thing that I used to enjoy reading when I was in my teens and 20s are completely different from what I'm interested in now. When I was younger, I was really into fiction, and not just one book. I wanted the entire series. If I loved the story so much, I wanted to own every single book. I remember going to bookstores in the Philippines and literally lining up just to make sure I could get the newest book as soon as it was released.
Harry Potter was one of those series for me. Twilight was another one.
I love that feeling of following a story from one book to another and having the complete collection sitting on my shelf. If I love the story, I wanted the whole set. I'm obsessed like that. And honestly, I still have some of those books back home. And whenever I see them, it brings me back to that version of myself who could spend hours just sitting somewhere and reading. But as I've gotten a lot older, my interests have slowly changed. I'm not saying I don't enjoy fiction anymore because I still do. But these days, I find myself more drawn to books about personal development, finance, minimalism, organization, mindset, health, and just understanding life a little bit better. I think there's something really nice about reading a single book written by someone who spent years learning and experiencing something and sharing it with the world. And then being able to take some of that knowledge and apply it to your own life is just priceless. And the good thing about it is that compared to me buying those fiction books with multiple series, you don't necessarily need a whole series when it comes to personal development books. Sometimes one book is more than enough to give you an entirely different perspective in life. And because I have been living overseas for so many years, books have also become like souvenirs for me. I'm lucky enough to travel from time to time, and instead of buying the usual souvenirs like, those little magnets, keychain, or little things that eventually just sit somewhere in a drawer and gather dust, I simply buy books. So now I have these little memories attached to the books I have collected. Like I'll see one and think, oh, I bought this in Vietnam, or oh, I got this in Singapore. And I really like that because it makes the book even more special. It's such a simple thing, but I feel like books can carry memories in a way that other souvenirs don't. And this video is actually my little way of documenting another promise I'm making to myself that I'm going to start reading more again. I actually already started, and I started with this one because another thing about me that I haven't shared on this channel yet is that I'm so obsessed about self-care, and number one being is skincare. So I'm really into anything Asian beauty, like Korean beauty, Japanese beauty. I have another account where I have a small number of followers, but I'm able to like receive brand invitation and collaboration. So I'm getting sent PR gifts and products that I can try in exchange for honest reviews. So overall, I just really love learning more about self-care and taking care of your body, your skin. So I started with that book, but for personal development, the next book I'm about to start is The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. This book. And this is one of those books that I have been hearing about for years. I've seen entrepreneurs and people whose work and lifestyle I admire recommend this book over and over again. That's also one of the top reason why I decided to get this. So I've had this for quite some time now, and honestly, I feel like I've been putting it up for way too long already. Every time I see someone mention it, I'm like, okay, I really need to read this book. So I am finally doing it. I'm actually quite excited because I don't want to just read it for the sake of saying that I've read it. I want to see what lessons I can actually take from it and whether there's anything in there that I can actually apply to the kind of life I'm trying to build for myself right now. Especially because I am at this stage where I'm thinking more about time, freedom, finances, work, and what I actually want my life to look like in the next few years. I feel like getting older should not be an excuse for us to stop learning. If anything, I feel like this is probably the best time when we should be learning even more. Our bodies change as we age, our energy changes, and even the way our minds work can change. So I think it's important to keep challenging ourselves, whether that's through reading, learning a new skill, exercising, creating something, or simply exposing ourselves to new ideas. And I'm not saying that reading a book is going to magically prevent us from getting older or developing certain health conditions. Of course, it's much more complicated than that, but I do believe that keeping your mind active and continuing to learn is a good habit to have as you age, just like how we exercise our bodies. I think it's also important to keep our minds engaged. And for me, my 40s are really becoming about taking better care of myself, my body, my mind, my finances, my environment, and just the kind of life that I'm creating for myself. So, anything that helps me or will help me become a little bit better than who I was yesterday, I'm so open to it. If you're watching this and you are thinking, I really want to start reading too, but I'm just not a reader, that's completely fine. You don't necessarily have to start with a physical book. Maybe you can listen to an audiobook, or you can start to read a few pages a day. If it's one, 2 pages only, that's fine. It's still progress. You can start with something you are genuinely interested in instead of forcing yourself to read something just because everyone else is reading it. Personally, though, I'm still a little bit old school. I still love physical books. I love holding them. I love the smell of new books. I love the sound of flipping through the pages. And I still love going to libraries. I am actually very drawn to cafes that have little libraries inside them, or cafes that are located next to bookstores or libraries. There's just something about that environment that makes me want to sit down, slow down, and just read. So, this is me officially trying to bring reading back into my life. I don't know how many books I'll finish this year. I'm not setting some crazy goal like 50 or 100 books. I just want to read consistently again, even if it's just a few pages a day. That's already something. And hopefully, if you're someone who has also been saying, I should start reading again, maybe this is your little reminder to pick up that book you've been putting off as well. As for me, I'm starting with this one. I'll let you know what I think once I'm done. So let's see how this little reading journey goes. Maybe I'll discover a new favorite book. Maybe I'll learn something that completely changes the way I look at things. Or maybe I'll enjoy having a quiet moment with a book again. Either way, I'm just pretty excited. And I think that's a pretty good place to start. I'll see you on my next video. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.